Hello everyone, my name is Boris Kalyanis, and today I will be reviewing the book The Sonic Boom, written by Joel Beckerman. In summary, Beckerman explains the importance of sounds in marketing, business, and our everyday life. He opens the book by describing a very interesting example. He talks about, he asks the reader to think about this famous dish called a fajita that you can get at the Applebee's restaurant. He explains how the sizzling sound of the fajitas coming out of the kitchen is what grabs our attention initially. And this is very interesting because I had never thought about the power of sound even in restaurant situations. Thus, sound can be used in marketing and business as attention getters. So he later on explains how sound captures our attention initially, but then we turn our heads to see the dish, and then we notice the aroma, and then we order the dish, and it creates the whole experience. He also talks about the importance of sound in the recollection of memories. He uses the example of ice cream trucks. So when little kids are growing up, they hear the ice cream truck and they ask their moms for money and they go get the ice cream. Growing up in Peru, I didn't have this experience, but I did have experience with, for example, fruit carts. We would have fruit carts coming around and they'd play these horns, and whenever I hear the horn, I remember my grandma coming out with us and telling us there's fresh fruit, and we would go out and pick our own fruit. And even to this day, just hearing that sound of that horn makes me feel the smell of the fresh fruit that that was brought to us daily, which I thought it's an incredible discovery that I knew was there all along, but I didn't think about it until I read this book. Beckerman also points the importance of sounds in how we perceive things. One example that he brings up is how we experience scary movies. So watching a scary movie, I would always, when I was younger, of course, when the scary part was coming, I would close my eyes. But how did I know the scary part was coming? Now that I think about it, it's because of the sound. So the sound or the music playing in the background would change, and I would be aware that there's going to be a horror moment, a scary moment in the movie. So he actually goes on in saying that if we are scared of the movie, we should just close our ears or cover our ears, and suddenly the movie's just not as scary. So we can see that sound is very important in how we experience movies and other feelings day to day. Another important aspect of sound is the absence of sound or silence. He goes on to talk about, for example, in Tokyo, they had the Tower of Terror, which is a famous ride, and how instead of playing the certain tone of the cables breaking before you fall, that they experimented by taking off those sounds. So what that does is it doesn't give you the anticipation of you falling. It makes you have that wondering feeling of what's going to happen, and then it happens and you're just caught off guard. And that actually became so scary that they have to go away with it. So he also talks about music in everyday life. Music is very important because it's got many sources of culture, and it affects our moods and it affects how we go about our day. After reading the Sonic Boom, I did an experiment and I went about my day with playing music, and it really changed my mood and how I started off the day. I would play a happy song. It really made me start the day off happy and more energetic. He talks about how there's sounds all over the place, and sometimes we can't distinguish between the foreground and the background and the middle sounds, but sound is always there. He talks about the importance of sounds and even things like starting up our computer. He talks about how Macintosh played around with different sounds of the startup, but I don't have a Macintosh, but when I do start up my Microsoft computer, it's got this upbeat tone to it that makes me feel like, oh, here starts this wonderful experience of using the computer. He talks how sounds amplify messages, and just this weekend I watched Les Miserables, which was a movie, an adaptation of a famous book. And I don't know if you've seen the movie, but the whole movie is a musical, and they sing throughout the movie. And I think that by doing that, by having those sounds, that music and constantly singing, it enhances the feeling of sadness, of romance, of even passion for your country. And I thought that that was a very intelligent move on the producer to make the movie a musical. So overall, I agree with a lot of the points that Joel Beckerman discusses in the Sonic Boom. I do feel that the Sonic Boom is definitely a great book that is awakening to the power of sound in our everyday lives. And I wish I would have read this book sooner, because it honestly opened up my eyes to the power of sounds in every day. And in this marketing class, I do believe that sound can become a very powerful tool, like he says, for my future endeavors in marketing. And I just want to read the last passage that he talks about in the book. He says, "Start now. When you put this book down, close your eyes and think about all the layers of sounds you hear. Those sounds have the power to make you feel something. They have stories they're trying to tell you. There's a boom moment in there somewhere." I do believe there's a boom moment every day in our lives, and if we can harness this, the power of sound, we can definitely. Thank you.